Okay, as you can see, I just walked past the camera, the Browning camera in night vision mode. I'm going to start it over again, and as you can see, it's out of focus in near field. But let me go back to the beginning, and you can see, okay, I'm probably sort of blurry just because I'm moving, but if you see, look at the bushes upper left corner, those are pretty much in focus, whereas the bench in the foreground isn't. When I measured the distance outside with a tape measure, it looks like at about 12 feet things start to come into focus, which is really too far. So that got me thinking, well, what's the story here? Why is that the case? Turns out that there's a main reason for why a camera lens doesn't focus quite so well with infrared light. An ordinary lens will bend light a certain distance behind the lens, but infrared light does not bend quite as far, as you can see in the diagram here. In fact, even expensive lenses understand that's the case, and here's a picture of my old FD 1.4 50 millimeter, 35 millimeter camera lens, and if you look at the green A, that's the location of the focus, and right now it's currently focused at infinity. But if you were using infrared film with that camera, in a 35 millimeter camera, you would adjust the focus however it normally appeared in the viewfinder, and then if you're using infrared film, you have to compensate, and what you do is you shift the focus over to this red dot that you see just to the right of the orange line. And what that does is it compensates for this problem where the light doesn't focus quite as well for infrared. Okay, there are other reasons, not particularly major reasons, but lens material does change its focusing power with temperature. That's mainly a function of the density of the material. And also, cameras, particularly cheap plastic cameras, will shrink and expand with temperature, and that will change the distance between the focal plane and the lens. Okay, so here we are. I have a problem. The lens normally works just fine in visible light. I measured that out, and everything's in focus beyond about 4 or 5 feet in normal visible daylight. But at night, I have this problem where things are out of focus. So I want to fix that. So here's my solution. Rather than a really expensive lens or taking the thing apart or rebuilding the camera from the ground up, what do people do when they have trouble focusing, they have trouble reading? Well, you get reading glasses. And so I did some calculations about the size of the lens, the focal length, and the field of view and everything, made some estimates about what would be required, and came to the conclusion that somewhere between about a half a diopter and 1 diopter of correction will do the job. Amazon happens to sell these glasses pretty cheap, $3 a pair of glasses, and I'm buying a bunch of them because I'm going to be putting them through a bandsaw. I figure I'll screw up at least a couple of times, so whatever, and it'll give me an opportunity to practice. But yeah, the idea is I'm just going to put reading glasses in front of the camera. In this case, the lens is near the top. It could be anywhere. So I'm trying to come up with a design that could be applied to just about any camera. Talking about design, I have certain criteria whenever I design something. I try to work that out ahead of time. In this case, I want it to be low cost. I don't want to spend a lot of money, so $3 for a pair of glasses, $1.50 per lens. I don't want to harm the camera in any way. I don't want to drill into it. I don't want to take it apart. I want it to be very simple, easily removed. If I don't like how it comes out, I just want to be able to take it off the camera and sort of move on to plan B. I want it to also be easy to swap in different lenses. I don't know what size lens, what magnification is going to be exactly correct, or there may be a different application. I may want to put it underneath a porch or underneath a tool shed, and I want to get closer focus. So I might want to be able to swap these corrective lenses out fairly easily. And then there's a mechanical issue. You can see that these IR LEDs are all around the lens. And if I stuck something out in front of the lens, it's possible that IR light could leak in from the sides, and that would really be a bad thing. So the design has to somehow block that. And then there's a problem where I don't want to close it up in such a way that I might get fogging, but on the other hand, I don't want to leave it open so that rain gets in. So I have this sort of problem where I have to allow a little bit of airflow, but have to do something to keep the rain from getting into the space between the corrective lens and the lens that's in the camera. Okay, so that's the introduction to what I'm trying to do. And what I'm going to do next is go down to the shop, pretty much thinking about Velcro. Here's a piece of Velcro right here that, maybe I could cut little strips around, maybe really thin strips, and go all the way around the camera lens, and then put the opposite coupling pair of Velcro onto the edge of the lens, and maybe that will allow me to take the lens out, put it back in, and it doesn't have to. It's not one of these perfectly aligned kind of things. It just has to stay put. So I'm going to focus on Velcro and see how that goes. I bought 3 different colors of glasses, and that was unnecessary for the optics, but it turns out my gray glasses are 0.5, my blue glasses are 0.75, and the red ones are 1.0 diopters. So you'll see the different colors when I'm hacking them to pieces down in the shop. All right, so let's head on down to the shop and see how this goes. Okay, there are glasses. I got tape. I have these shingles. I'm keeping the camera alive with this battery right here. I tend to use an external battery. This is the fate of these glasses, is to get initially chopped with these. Here's my Velcro. More glasses. Okay, so this is basically it, and the machine of choice is going to be this bandsaw. What I want to do is I want to get rid of these temples, okay, these temples right here, and my goal is to make a cut that's 1 inch wide, and there's a little bit of a curve here, but I'm going to turn it 90 degrees, and that'll fit right. It's a little bit longer in this direction than it is in this direction, so the 1 inch will be this way, and the longer dimension will be this way right here. Okay, so I'm going to just cut out both of them, and it turns out this tape is 1 inch wide. Okay, so I could be really, I could do an optician's job and then take these little screws out, or I could just do it the old-fashioned way, which is say goodbye. Somebody painstakingly in some computer designed these things, and now here I am chopping them off. Okay, I'll move that out of the way a little bit. All right, so this is, these are all ideas. I have never done this before. One of my philosophies in making videos is everybody should get to see the process. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get in here, piece of tape, and go right down the middle. And okay, so there's that. So when I come in with the bandsaw, I'm just going to follow the tape. I'm just going to get the other side. Do the same thing, right down the, within reason. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. These are very low power. If they're a little bit not perfectly centered, they'll be fine. Okay, so there's that one. And I'll just do this for the others. And once I'm done doing this, what I'll do, whoa, I didn't actually get that centered right. I'm so busy worried about having it lay down flat. It's not exactly secure right there. All right, I'm going to go a little bit longer with this. Okay, I'm going to get another piece of tape right here just to kind of hold that. Okay. All right, so then, I could do one, I could do more than one on a board, but I don't really want to do that. I want to make sure that everything is kind of isolated. I want to do them in pairs. I got it. Once I cut them out, I won't be able to tell what's what very easily. So, okay, and I get this one. Oh, that's good. That's good. That's sort of a good solid way of holding it on. Make it extra long. Okay, get this one. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the GoPro and move it over to the saw. So I've got the eyeglasses taped here. I'm just going to cut along the outside edge of the tape. That'll leave about a 1 inch wide thing, and then I'll turn it sideways to put it on the camera with Velcro. Okay, so put this back here. And hopefully the GoPro won't fall into the blade. It'll start up. Okay, here we go. I'll go really slow. Really slow because I don't know. Well, first of all, I don't know what. Oh yeah. This is very nice. Doesn't have to be perfect. Go on through. Yep, don't fight it. Okay, and here's more scrap. Okay, the next piece is going to be the real McCoy, so we'll get in there. Let's see if this camera is jiggling very nicely. Let's see what I'm doing. Yep, there it is. Go on through. Okay, that's one. We'll check that one out. We'll let the blade stop. And here we are. Here's my first sample. And what I'm going to do is just sort of do an eyeball check on this thing. As you can see, I've already put one piece of Velcro right here. And so the idea is I'll go all the way around the lens with Velcro. And then this lens right here, I'll also include Velcro. All right. So anyhow, I mean, here we are. You know, not perfectly square, but you know, the idea is that, you know, this thing goes right in front. Okay, so as I already mentioned, I have a little bit of Velcro already here. I'm going to put a couple more pieces around the perimeter. All right, so what I'm doing is I'm also cutting just a little strip, and the next 15 or 20 minutes of my life I will spend trying to get the adhesive backing off. I'm going to turn this camera on. I know it's all going to be all fuzzy and everything, but it's in Trailcam mode right now. I'd like to see what it's seeing. Yeah, well, it hasn't started. It's down to 22 seconds before. Hey, look at that. I got it peeled. Okay, get this sticky back off. All right, so what I want to do is go around the perimeter, and I probably should have brought tweezers or something, but it's going to go down right here. And, you know, it's, as I said, this is not going to be an airtight design. The idea is going to be to kind of maybe leave it a little bit open so that air can get through. I don't know if that is a good idea, because water can also get through wherever air can get through, but if I seal it up too much, then I'm likely to end up with fogging, and I've already talked about my concern about that, so we'll see. Basically, what you do when you're building stuff like this is you just take your first crack at it, and then you look at what happens. You know, you learn from that. So it's not like I'm trying to, I'm still peeling my next thing off. All right, and it's not the best cutting job, but it's all right. It'll get in here. I just want to get it in right in there. That's good. That'll do. That'll work. That looks good. Okay, and then I'm going to put one on the top up here, because I'm planning to put a little plastic roof to try to block the rain. We'll see what happens. You know, you try things and then you see what happens. All right, so one more cut, and I'll put the next one. I'm going to make sure not to get in field of view, but I don't think that's happening. I don't know. I don't know how to wake this thing up. Oh, mode. I think mode does that. I think mode will wake it up. Yeah. Okay, it's currently recording. Look at that. It's got 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second left. Okay. So I don't know. I'm not sure if reading glasses or otherwise I'll be able to see whether or not I'm blocking this lens. I don't want to block the lens. I also don't want to let IR in. You know, all these parameters I'm working with. But okay, so that looks pretty good. You know, just a little. Okay, there's a little bit of a gap there, but that's maybe just what I need. Okay, just to get the lens to work. Okay, so the first one of these, I don't know. I've got them over here. I got a whole pile of lenses. I've marked them. I think I'll take one of these right here. Okay, well, why I'm groaning is they're not exactly clean. I put tape on them, I fiddled with them, but okay. My workspace is clean. I got out a new sheet of plastic, so I will just live with what I've got here. Okay, I don't really need to, I need to go all the way around the perimeter, so all right, you can hear me doing stuff, but here, I'm cutting this extra long piece, and then I'm going to cut strips out of that. I'm going to cut 2 strips. Well, let me start with this one. Okay, so anyhow, this is assembly time. Say, oh, I'll just stick Velcro on, and then next thing you know, you're spending 20 minutes putting Velcro on. It's like, whoa, this is really okay. I'm gonna kind of go right along the edge. I don't want to actually get too much into the field of view. I'm going to just sort of split the difference. I almost like to go really along the edge. I don't know. Let me do that. That was my original idea, was to kind of go along the edge, and what that would do is, I get a little bit of contact. I don't think it's going to take much to hold this on, but it will also be a nice optical barrier. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go along the edge. Cut another strip just like that one. Looks like I've got just enough here to make 4 strips. That'll be good. Okay, so I've got this final piece I'm putting on around the edge of the lens. Okay, all right. I mean, it's pretty good. I think it'll do the job. Okay, so the question, of course, is going to be what happens when. Now, lens is not clean right now. I got fingerprints on it and everything, but I'm gonna just see. This is what I want to learn. This is what I want to learn. What is hard about it? What isn't? And what I want to do is just stick it in front and bang. Okay, there we go. There it is. Okay, it's obviously not. Okay, I might have some pathways here down the back in the corners. It looks like I've got right in these corners right here. I got to fill in. It's going to come right up through there. Okay, so that's something to figure out. I got to just cut some little nibbles to stick in there. I don't know, or just maybe what I'll do is take these off. Put longer ones in. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. Okay. Okay, so I made these a little wider on the top and the bottom, and the idea is to, make sure that when you kind of look in, you can't see around the edge of the. I can see around the edge up here, but I'm not worried because that's not where the IR is going to leak in. Water might leak in there, which is my step 2. But okay, so is that going to stay? I don't know. Probably. Okay. Yeah, I'd say that will stay, and I don't see any problems there. Okay, so that's interesting. So it's got the lens in. I'd want to clean it before I use it. Okay, so this is the 1 diopter lens, and I'm just going to stick that on there. Now you shouldn't really see much difference, but it used to be that my hand right here would be out of focus. So the question is where is it focused now? It's like, okay, well, it's going out of focus now, but I'd say it's pretty good. Okay, so that's the 1 diopter, and I'll take that off and tag it with its piece of tape. And here's the 0.75. Okay, here's the 0.75. Here's my hand again. It's probably going out of focus. Probably going out of focus maybe here. I don't know. and then we'll switch to the half diopter, which is this one here. Okay, so half diopter. Okay. So, my hand's going out of focus. That's about 3 feet right there, something like that, 3.5 feet. Okay, so the question is, what about nighttime? What about nighttime? It says ready. Okay. Yep, went into IR mode. Okay, now first of all, let me get out of the way so you can kind of see the background. Okay, so I'm going to put the lens on for half a diopter. Okay, you get to see what that looks like. And here's my hand like it was before, about 3 feet away, 2 feet away, 1 foot away. Okay, so we'll try the next lens, which is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting trying to keep my fingerprints off of these things. And this one is, let's see, 0.75. Okay, 0.75 is coming up. Okay, so 0.75, here's my hand again. 3 feet, 2 feet, 1 foot, so forth. You get the impression it's still out of focus a little bit, and I'll get it out of the way so you can see the background. 0.75. All right, so now here comes 1 diopter. We'll slap that on there. Okay, this is 1 diopter. Let me get out of the way. You can see the background. Okay, so here's 1 diopter. Here's my hand coming in. 18 inches, 1 foot. Okay, 18 inches, 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet. Okay, I'm kind of curious about how close can I get. This is 8 inches. Okay. Okay, so that's my test for IR. And okay, I'll check out these videos and see what the story is. Before I started making these lenses, this is what I knew. I knew that outdoors, the Browning camera in visible light during the day focused somewhere between 6 feet and infinity, maybe a little bit less than 6 feet, something like that. And then the video right at the beginning of this video shows that, at least in cold weather, in IR mode at night, the focusing was like 12 feet to infinity. Then I made my lenses, and after reviewing the videos extensively, this is what I came up with as far as the focus distance with the corrective lenses. Surprisingly, the indoor performance was a shorter near distance focal length in every case, corrected or otherwise. So temperature is a much bigger factor with respect to focusing distance. Another thing I'm noticing is that there isn't much of a difference at room temperature between visible light and infrared light, which strongly suggests that the camera works just fine under normal conditions. Not cold weather, but normal shirt sleeve kind of indoor kind of 70-degree kind of temperatures. Basically, there really isn't a problem to fix except in cold weather. So, okay, so then there's the question of what about cold weather? What about the results for that? And that's the subject of the next video. I've been collecting videos from various points, some of this standing in front of the camera in the dark, others taking advantage of just placing a camera and letting the neighborhood critters help out with the science project. So next time we will investigate the performance of these corrective lenses outdoors, daytime and nighttime in cold weather. Here's the bench that was in the other video, and the camera was sitting, back, maybe on this thing, but not quite, a little bit closer, like right about here. So, the bench was, this was completely out of focus, and those bushes right here, these were completely out of focus, and